Thank everybody for being here. I'm going to make a brief statement, and then we'll have the chief and the mayor come up. First off, thank you all for being here. The chief is going to talk a little bit about the incident itself. The mayor is going to make a statement. He's been with the Mitchell family most of the morning. So just a couple things. I know y'all all understand it's an ongoing investigation, so there's some things we probably won't be able to answer for everybody. First off, just to get it out of the way, the spellings of the names. The police chief, Brooke Rollins, B-R-O-O-K, R-O-L-L-I-N-S. The mayor, TJ with no spaces, Gilmore, G-I-L-M-O-R-E. Okay, everybody got good mic? We're ready to go. First bring up Mayor Gilmore.
Good afternoon. I want to thank everyone for their prayers, their calls, their concerns. This morning, of course, Commissioner Mitchell, or as I tend to know her as Mayor Mitchell, who has had a long history with the city and with giving back, she and her family had a tragedy this morning. That family, you need to hold them in your hearts, in your prayers. There's a long road of recovery. We are getting news that Commissioner Mitchell is recovering, and we're pleased on that, but we are also saddened, deeply saddened, at the loss of her husband, Fred Mitchell. If anybody has ever been at a public event where Bobby Mitchell has prayed over you, you know that she does an amazing job. Well, now it's a time for the community to give back. So anytime that you have over the next couple of days or weeks to uplift Bobby and the family, please do so. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers, but also please give the family some time and some space. They need that to process this, and we thank you for it. The community of Lewisville is hurting, but we know we will be stronger and we will come together to be strong for the family. Thank you.
All right, well, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I'm just going to provide a very high-level summary of what happened today here at the police department and in the city of Lewisville. This morning, just before 4 a.m., the Lewisville 911 Emergency Dispatch Center received a 911 call from an address in the 1000 block of Springwood Drive. The call taker that took the call heard what they reported to be as a struggle over that phone, and then somebody was also reporting that somebody was present in that location with a knife. Officers were dispatched to the location and were actually able to get on scene relatively quickly. The first officer that arrived located a suspect vehicle outside the residence and could hear screaming coming from inside the residence. That officer went into the residence and was actually able to encounter the suspect and both of our victims in this particular case. The victims were both stabbed. It appeared to be wounded. The officer had to detain and arrest the suspect first before being able to provide medical aid to the two victims that were inside the house. The suspect was handcuffed and taken out and given to other officers before we could summon medical aid into the residence to deal with both of the victims. The victims were identified as Fred Mitchell, who succumbed to his wounds this morning just before 5 a.m., and then Commissioner Bobby Mitchell, who is still in a local hospital being treated for her wounds as well. They were both cared for by Lewisville fire personnel relatively quickly and transported to area hospitals at that time. There was no struggle from our suspect, who was identified as Mitchell Blake Reinecker, a 23-year-old male who is the grandson of both the victims in this particular case. Our detectives responded to the scene and processed the scene this morning, also conducting a search warrant looking for evidence and things that contributed to this particular case. That wrapped up shortly before noon, and they're still in the process of going through the evidence and determining what next steps need to happen as well. And so I'll pause there and see if there's any questions that I can attempt to answer. Obviously, I know that Matt mentioned we are still actively investigating the case. There are a lot of things I may not be able to share with you, but we do expect the arrest affidavit to go out shortly, if not already, which should have some more details in it that would be of use to you.
Should officers recover the weapon that was used in this attack?
Yes, sir. So the question was, did the officers recover the weapon used in the attack? We believe so. We believe it to be a serrated kitchen knife that was located near the assault location.
Chief, I know your detectives are still in this investigation. Do you have even a rough idea of what may have precipitated it?
At this point, I can't really speculate what it was that precipitated this event. We're still pretty early in the investigation, unfortunately.
Was this her home and did he live there?
So it is her home and that she shared with her husband, and I believe he lived there. I believe the suspect lived at that residence as well.
Did the initial call come from inside the home itself or a neighbor?
We believe the initial call came from inside the home. What I can't tell you is who made the call.
Chief, you mentioned you got the call a little bit before 4 a.m., and then first officer arrived on scene, Mr. Pelton. Would you know exactly when the call was placed and what time the first officer arrived?
I don't have that exact data in front of me. I think the initial call went in at 3:53 a.m. I don't know what time they arrived on scene, but it was moments later. Early in the morning, Sunday to Monday, there wasn't a high call volume, so I think officers were able to get there relatively quickly.
Chief, has the commissioner been able, even given the both mental and physical trauma that she's had to endure, be able to cooperate with investigators and give them some information, since the suspect is family, on what may have, the history that they have led up to this?
No, I wouldn't know at this point. I don't believe we have that kind of information for her. When an officer responds to a scene that's chaotic like this, it would be commonplace to determine who the suspect is and preliminarily what had happened. Given her medical status, it was more important to transport her to, or give her over to the medics to let them try to treat her. Our detectives will, of course, follow up in the eventual future to determine what may have led to the event.
Can you describe the interaction your officers had with her grandson while taking him into custody, please?
It's my understanding that he was immediately cooperative with officers and surrendered without any incident, was taken into custody.
Does he know to police?
I don't know how to answer known to police. What else could you ask me there?
History between the suspect and Lewisville police?
I know that we have a report or two on him. I don't know beyond that what the nature of those reports are.
Do you know, were there any other parties at the home besides the victims and the suspect?
No, just the 3 occupants inside the home.
I guess could you just speak to like the level of shock that this would be a family event like this, devastating?
Yeah, it's difficult to stand up here as a police chief and try to talk you through an event like this because it's a mechanical response to a call. What I will tell you on the other side is what the mayor said. Commissioner Mitchell has a long-standing history with this city as a former mayor and then as our commissioner. And if anybody's ever known her, the value that she brings to our city from a leadership perspective as well as one of our elected officials. She has just as big a family, and I think the lines are really blurred between family and friends in this community, and you've seen that all day from people. So I think the shock and awe is well beyond the immediate family and into the family of this city, this county, and in some cases the state from what I'm seeing on our social media posts. So it's pretty clear to me that she's got quite a support structure that has come out for this type of thing.
Chief, did you know Fred Mitchell at all?
I personally did not know, sir.
Mayor, don't worry. Kind of building off that last question, you gave a little, context of the contribution that Commissioner Mitchell, former Mayor Mitchell, has made not only to Lewisville, but Denton County. Can you, just speak a little bit more on that, and just for someone who's never been there, just how much your presence means to this community?
Sure. Bobby was one of the first people I went to speak to about running for any elected office. Her husband, Fred, when he showed up at events, he was very particular, much like my wife. If he showed up at an event, you knew that was a big deal because he was very quiet but very supportive. So he will be greatly missed. Bobby is, she serves on the Council of Governments. She serves in the county. She serves at the state level. She serves. Let's just put it that way. And so, this is absolutely one of those things where everybody knows Bobby Mitchell, everybody respects Bobby Mitchell, and to have this happen, it's very difficult for all of us. And we all want to know, but we also need to make sure that we understand that this is very, very difficult.
Beyond just being a servant and all that, she's a wonderful person.
She's a beautiful person, an absolutely beautiful person. Now, she's also very opinionated. She's also very funny. She's just a wonderful human being and has always been approachable. And I think that's what makes her such a great public servant. I think in today's world, we see way too many public servants getting out there and not serving the public, but serving themselves. Bobby is the absolute opposite of that, and we are devastated And we hope that she and the family can move through this and that we can continue to, have her service for many years to come.
Can you just highlight what you can tell us about Fred personally?
Fred mowed his own lawn. He was quiet. He was always letting Bobby take the spotlight. Of course, I don't know if that was a let, but he was always supportive of her and of the community. I wish I could tell you more about Fred. He and I did not interact all that often, but whenever it was always that, he'd married up. Outkicked his coverage, depending on which one you want to talk about. But he was always there for Bobby, and the two of them were just such a great dynamic couple. She was the energy, but he was the power battery in the background, just making sure that everything was running the way it was supposed to.
Can either one of you confirm that she, at this point, is expected to make a full recovery?
I can confirm that. I heard that this morning from the doctors. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mayor.
I do have
Thank
an
you.
update on the response time if you want that.
So our officers were dispatched at 3:53. The first officer appears on scene at 3:58 a.m. and at 3:58 a.m. makes a second radio call that she had the suspect.
What's he been charged with at this point?
The current charges are murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And that would be two separate people with two separate incidents related to them. All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you all.